some people are acting as if this case has been won already, and it is not in the bag. It's quite an unusual case. We probably don't have time to go through all the ins and outs now, but I'd say there's only a 50-50 chance of conviction.
Let's head over to the US, where the House of Representatives has just convened to vote on a $95 billion package for Ukraine and Israel, as well as other allies. The vote comes after months of delay and strong opposition from pro-Trump Republicans. Sarah Baxter is the director of the Mary Colvin Center for International Reporting, and she joins us now. Sarah, thanks for giving us your time.
Thanks, Alexis.
Sarah, can you tell us the latest? I know that Congress has just convened, but this vote wasn't even easy to get to the vote stage.
Absolutely not. And they're holding this vote in Congress not a moment too soon, really, because Ukraine desperately needs this package of about $61 billion in aid. As we heard on the news, that's about £50 billion. And it has been held up for months, really on the basis of ideological opposition from a small band of hard right-wing MAGA enthusiasts, that's Make America Great Again enthusiasts, fanatics for Donald Trump, who has never been a friend of Ukraine's, has always been more friendly to Vladimir Putin and Russia. So it's a hugely significant moment that this vote is going through at all, and it comes after a big change of heart by the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and it may yet cost him his job.
And how do we see it going? I'm assuming that the MAGA Republicans in Congress are still going to vote it down. They object to America, if you like, being the country that has to pay the big bucks. They feel that other countries, particularly in Europe, are not pulling their own weight by paying into things like NATO. So I'm assuming that they'll still vote against this amount of money being sent over to Ukraine and Israel.
Yes, the MAGA oppositionists will still vote against it. In fact, over 90 Republicans, well, actually it wasn't all Republicans, but quite a lot of people, there were 90 opposition votes to even tabling this bill yesterday. And so, yes, there'll be opposition within the Republican Party. But the point about this bill is it's reaching the floor with bipartisan support. That overwhelmingly, the Democrats will vote in favor, and those combined votes will see this aid package to Ukraine and a package of aid to Israel passed today. And it's very, very important. It appears that Mike Johnson, the Republican House Speaker, who saw Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago only a few days ago, has decided to put his job on the line over this because he's a very strong evangelical Christian, and he's been meeting with evangelical Christians from Ukraine who've been telling him how much this help is needed. He's also a Speaker of the House, probably privy to a lot more US intelligence information than you or I, and is, very concerned that Ukraine might lose the war without this help. So I think he's been moved as a Christian, as a fundamentalist Christian himself, to help Ukraine, because he's, having prevaricated and stonewalled for months, he's suddenly had quite a passionate change of heart.
Sarah, before we go, can you also give us the latest on Donald Trump's trial? We believe that a jury is now in place after, I think, they whittled it down from 90 people all the way down to 12. What do we know so far about the trial and the jury?
Well, first of all, they've selected a jury much quicker than we imagined. At one point, we were talking about it was going to take a couple of weeks to find a jury because there'd be so many objections, etc. But the jurors have got through. Nonetheless, a couple of jurors have stepped down. One because they obviously lied about something on their form, and another because they were afraid of retaliation should information come out that they are a juror, which of course is the sort of thing that makes juries afraid to be on mobster trials. So that was interesting. But anyway, it looks like it's going to start pretty soon, and I think the Judge Merchant, who doesn't seem to have been any particular friend of Donald Trump, who's attacked him mercilessly in personal terms, I should say, wants to get on with it. He's not going to take any nonsense delaying tactics from Trump's lawyers. On the other hand, some people are acting as if this case has been won already, and it is not in the bag. It's quite an unusual case. We probably don't have time to go through all the ins and outs now, but I'd say there's only a 50-50 chance of conviction.
But Sarah, just briefly before we go, though, isn't the case for Donald Trump that it's almost a win-win for him? If he's absolved of any wrongdoing, then he can say, "Well, look, I was protesting my innocence all along," and said that this was a witch hunt focused on politically causing a disadvantage and putting him out of the campaign trail and sticking him in a court when there's actually nothing to see here. So if he walks out of the courthouse as a free man, an innocent man, he's got a win. And also, if it goes the other way, he still is able to play the martyr card for his supporters who think that he's still being politically prosecuted to prevent him from or well, they can't even prevent him. Even I think he can run even if he can't even vote for himself for being in prison. He can still run and be president. But for Donald Trump, it's a win-win, is it not?
Yeah, well, certainly Democrats are worried that he's going to use the courtroom as a stage for proclaiming. I mean, I don't think he's going to go on the stand. He says he'd like to, but that's yet to be determined. Let's see about that. Certainly a very colourful case. As you mentioned, Stormy Daniels, the adult porn star, is going to be giving testimony. Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's chief fixer turned very harsh critic, is going to be on the stand. It's going to be fascinating to watch. But Donald Trump's also going to be scrutinised in court. He won't have it all his own way. He is going to be treated like an ordinary defendant. Obviously, he's nothing of the sort, and he will be able to make statements coming in and out of the courtroom. But in court, he is going to have to sit and listen if the judge tells him to. So he's not fully in control of the situation. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a win. I think Donald Trump would rather it was not happening and that he was out campaigning in swing states, but he's very good at using any publicity to his advantage. So it's not necessarily as career ending as, let's face it, it would be for any other politician.
Sarah Baxter, thank you for your time.